Hello, welcome, comedian Raymond Orta, comedian extraordinaire here. Welcome to my master class. If you guys are here and you're watching this, is because you've paid lucrative amounts of money to obtain this information. And my goal is for you to take this information and make a lot of money with it. Welcome to the comedy master class. I won't take any more of your time. We're going to dive right into it. Comedy master class presented by yours truly, Raymond Orta, comedian extraordinaire. First slide of the day is comedy is show business, and show business is two words: show and business. And in this world, you got to be good at both of those things. If you're good at the business but not good at the show, you won't get booked more than once. And if you're good at the show but you're not good at the business, you might get booked more than once, but you probably won't be making money or probably be getting screwed over. So in this course, I'm going to try to teach you how to be good at both of those things in a very short amount of time. How to be good at the business part of it and how to be good at the show part of it. Now, just so you guys are watching at home and say, who's this guy with a mullet? Why is he going to teach me how to do comedy? Just to show you and let you guys know you're in good hands. I've been doing comedy since I was 8 years old. My first time that I ever went on stage, I was in 3rd grade. I wrote my own jokes. I did 5 minutes of clean material at a talent show, and I won, and I crushed it, and I've been hooked ever since. I've been passionately pursuing this craft ever since 3rd grade, and I have poured all my heart and soul and my livelihood into this with passion since I was 8 years old. I assure you, I love this stuff. Let's move on. The business side of show business. All right. Putting asses in the seats is the number one name of the game. All right. That's the number one name of the game. That's how you get paid. If you don't put asses in the seats, you're not going to get paid. If you don't know how to put asses in seats, I'm here to show you how to do that, guys. So at the bottom line, this is why comedy is the hardest thing. You're essentially getting people to give you money to hear you tell jokes, usually about your genitals. We're going to try to clean up your material too, so it's not all about your genitals. Of course, everybody likes a good genital joke. But putting asses in the seats is the name of the game. How do you do that? With popularity. How do you get popular? Well, that's on you. Okay? Some people are naturally popular. Like me, I was homecoming king. I can't help it. I'm just popular. If you're not one of those guys, I am afraid to tell you this. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone and make friends that actually want to give you money to hear you tell jokes. If you can't make it about that, you're never gonna get anywhere. You have to gain something from this. It's not all about just paying a bar tab and going home. I'm trying to make you guys money so that you can pay a mortgage with this. All right. Doing ticket giveaways is now the most important way, and now a new way of doing comedy. If you guys are into doing comedy right now, ticket giveaways. The most important part is don't just limit your ticket giveaways to social media. A lot of people are just giving their tickets away to social media. Give it out to business owners. Give it out to people that are going to come out to the show and are actually going to spend money, and they're going to spend big money. And usually, if you give it out to business owners, they have a staff. Give out say you go up to your doctor. You know, this is a good way to get free medical care. If you're a comic, you probably don't have health insurance. Okay. Welcome to the club. If you're a comic and you don't have health insurance, this is a real good way to get free health care. Say, for example, you go to the doctor and you tell your doctor, hey, I don't have money to pay you, but I'd like to give you and your staff a night at the comedy show that I have, and I'll give you all tickets if you'll check out this strange wart in my inner loin area. See, that's called bartering. But you get your loins checked out, and you also get high value clients at your show. People that have an education, that have disposable income is the name of the game. Because as a comedian, number one, we're prostitutes. Okay? We're prostitutes. Think about this. I want you to think about this. We get paid. We get hired for an hour. We get paid. We make people feel good. And we all go home and cry. Right? That's what this is. We're just prostitutes that don't have to get naked. So we're just low-priced prostitutes with self-esteem issues. And that's what a comedian is. But we're also a valuable asset. And that's how you have to view yourself. If you're viewing yourself as a not an asset to the club, if you're just going over there and just dumping your personal feelings out on a microphone and walking half of the crowd because people don't want to hear about your misery, that's gonna ultimately affect the bottom line. But if you enhance the business while you're there, if people while you get there, there's a bunch of people that are drinking, that you have a bunch of friends that have a lot of money that they come and spend a lot of money, the bar is going to look at that and say, wow, I like having this guy at my place because he brings this crowd that drinks, and every time this guy is here, I make X amount of dollars. And there's a value and a formula for that. So where you can say, I helped this bar make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 more this night than they would have if I wasn't there. Now you can use that as leverage to see how much you charge because they showed you the numbers. And usually bar owners, if you ask them at the end of the night, just ask them, hey, can I see your numbers? Just want to see, I'm curious how much you made so I can use it for further negotiating deals with other businesses. Say, for example, somebody made $5,000 in a night because you hosted comedy at their place. Now you can easily say, hey, we bring $5,000 in nightly consumption of alcohol and food. Can you pay us $500 from there? That's asking for 10% of what they're going to gross. That's totally easily doable. And for a comedian that's barely starting up, you can take $500 and easily put together a full show and pay a headliner $250, pay a feature $125 to $100, and then keep $100 for yourself as a host, and everybody gets paid. Everybody makes a little scratch money. That's starting out. The bigger the audiences get, the more money the bars make, the more you can leverage and ask for more. If you up the value of your show, you can up the value of your ticket. So if you say it's just not just a comedy show, like I used to do shows with a dinner and a comedy show. Now these are classy events, black tie events, formal events, galas, fundraisers. They do a gala, they do a dinner, and they do a comedy show. These generate tens of thousands of dollars in a night if you do it right. And you could get hired to do these types of events, or you can do them yourself. Like if you have one of my biggest days is Valentine's Day. I do a catered event, hire a caterer. They're gonna pay $10 per plate. And I know that I can buy 150 to 200 plates, and it's gonna take some money to spend. But at the end of the night, if I'm selling the tickets at $50 to $100, and you sell 200 tickets, you're making $20,000 at the end of the night for your investment of $2,000. There's like big business in this, but it's also doing it right. All right, so. The high dollar events, say not only are you doing comedy, bring something else to the table if you want to combine it. Sometimes it's not a good idea. Okay, I'll be honest. Sometimes it's not a good idea to combine anything with comedy but comedy. But sometimes it's cool, it's classy. To say, for example, it's Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, and you put on a comedy show, but you also hired a mariachi, and they're gonna play for the mothers at the end of the night. They're gonna have an awesome night. Man, that's classy. All of a sudden, you turned a comedy show into a event and a social event. People are going to want to take pictures. People are going to want to go live on Facebook when they see the mariachi playing, and it's going to be at your show. And that ultimately gets you to my next bullet point: sponsorships and social media. Okay, sponsorships right now, guys, if you're not doing sponsorships, you should be getting it into social media. Social media is the new leveling field 100%. Used to be comics had a dream of going to Hollywood and saying, oh, I'm going to get in a sitcom. I'm going to get on some movies. Hollywood is where to make it. I need to do Hollywood. I'm here to tell you this, that Hollywood is dead. Hollywood, who watches TV? Do you guys watch TV? I don't watch TV. See, do you guys watch TV?
No.
Sort of?
No one does.
No? Not really, right? So if you guys are not watching TV, chances are other people aren't really watching TV, but who's on their phone? Everybody's on their phone. What's on their phone? Social media is on their phone. So if you can master social media, you become your own brand. social media is the new Hollywood. If you can become an influencer on social media, sponsorships open themselves up big time. For one post on my social media page, because I have a big following, I can charge $2,500 to sponsorship just to shout them out one time, just for one time. That's amazing. That's a game changer for a comic. If you have a big elevated platform and you can make $2,500 in a post, it makes things a lot easier. Now all of a sudden you're not scrambling to put shows together. You can now you have a little bit of scratch money to put an ad on your show and really get the word out there. But if you don't have the social media following, you should concentrate on that first and foremost. Even if it's putting out skits, even if it's putting out rants of yourself talking in the truck, like there's a bunch of dudes selling out arenas and theaters right now because they did themselves talking in a truck by themselves, wearing their seatbelt, just ranting onto their cell phones. And there's people that are selling out theaters just because they do that. So it's not about putting out funny content and funny comedy clips. It's about just putting out content, period. Just take over the social media game, and it's like money in the bank. Writing jokes. So writing jokes for TV is another thing that I want to talk to you guys about. So this is a business side of it. You guys don't have to perform to get paid. You guys, there's plenty of websites that actually they'll buy your jokes. So if you feel that you're a talented writer, you can actually find a website that will actually buy the jokes that you write, and you will probably see one of your jokes be said by late night, like by Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, all those pedophiles. So if you're a writer and you want to sell jokes to TV, there's a way to do that. And there's also a way to sell your jokes to radio. And there's also a way to sell your jokes, like not even jokes, but your own bits. So say, for example, if you're working on characters and you have a character that you think would be a funny bit on the radio, you can actually sell them your character and actually...
It went out.
Oh.
Yeah, screensaver.
Did the battery run out? There it is.
There you go.
So you can actually sell your jokes for TV, or like write your own characters into the radio slots. Now, I used to be on the radio for 5 years, and the radio station across from us had a bunch of canned characters that were from out of town. They were from LA. This dude was doing voice work by himself, and he was doing multiple characters and selling them. And you just have to get in contact with the radio station, say, I have this funny character. If you can use them, this is what I charge for that. Now, if you don't feel comfortable charging it, you should, because eventually somebody's going to come by and ask you, how much do you charge for this? And if you don't have a set price, you're going to look unprofessional, and you're going to look like you're guessing. But if you do have a set price and you already have it already set in stone, you're going to look super pro. Have a proposal ready. Say, hey, if you want my character for the radio gig for 2 weeks to try it out, it's going to be this price. If you want it for a month, it's going to be this price. If you want it for a year, it's going to be this price. And believe me when I tell you guys this, aim high. Don't short sell yourself, because you never know when somebody might say yes. And if they say no, say, well, you know what? That's just the number that I throw out there. I'm willing and open to negotiate. What do you got? What's in your budget? And take, if they give you anything, take it, because it's an opportunity to be on the radio. It's an opportunity to be on TV, and it's ultimately more exposure for your brand. Getting ready for a late night TV set. So if you get to the point where you're getting ready for a late night TV set, you're gonna want to prepare 6 minutes of hot fire. And if you don't have 6 minutes of clean material, that should be your priority. 6 minutes, clean set, hot fire, because that's what they're going to give you on a late night show. 6 minutes. I don't know why they choose 6 minutes. That's just what it is. It's weird. But from your 6 minutes, we go to your 5 to 15 minutes, and that's pretty much your hosting spot. You guys know about hosting. That's the hosting spot, 5 to 15 minutes. From 5 to 15 minutes, we go to 15 to 30 minutes. That's the feature spot. And then after that, we go to 45 minutes to an hour, and that's your headliner spot. Now, we're going to go here. Dealing with club owners and getting your foot into the best clubs in the country. How many of you guys want to play the comic strip? How many of you guys want to be in the improv? right? That was always my dream as a comic, is to be in the comic strip. I emailed a comic strip for 3 years, and I was ignored for 3 years. I got ignored. I would send them my videos. I would send them links, send them messages, email. Got ignored. You know how I finally got in there? I got a guest spot because another comedian that I knew vouched for me, and they said, hey, give this guy a spot. He's going through town this day. Can he come into your spot and do a guest spot? If you have the vouching of another professional comedian, that's what's going to get you in faster than anything else. Okay. The club owners are very meticulous of who they let on their stage. If you have a large social media following, oh, that door flies open immediately. But without that social media following, you're more of a liability than an asset at that point. But if you have a large social media following, they're gonna open that door, like, oh, come right in. What you do with that opportunity is up to you. But if they're gonna give you a guest spot, you have to crush it, because the person that's vouching for you, if they vouch for you, they're putting their name on the line and saying that you're gonna do a good job because they respect you as a comedian. If you go in there and take a dump, it's the worst thing you can do as a comic. Do not take those opportunities until you are absolutely certain that you're going to go in there and crush it. Because if you burn somebody else's name by doing that, they'll never vouch for you anywhere again. But if you crush it, and the bar owner or the comedy club owner calls the other comedian that vouched for you, they're going to be like, dude, that was awesome. Thank you so much for calling and letting me know about that person. I'm going to book them from now on as a feature. And then the way that comedy clubs work, they usually book you as a host first, and then they bump you up to feature, and then if you crush your feature spot, they bump you up to headliner. But it takes years of doing that. The only way to bypass that process is through social media. However, it's a double-edged sword, because if you get super famous on social media and you start selling out tickets and selling out shows, but you don't have a show for it, you don't have an hour to cover, people will go and see you one time, but they won't buy another ticket the next time you're going through town. So if you don't have the material to cover, can you still be famous and still do the comedy club? Yes, you can. But cheat code time. Get funny friends. Surround yourself with funny friends and have them amplify you, and you host a show. You know you only got 5 to 10 minutes of material, but you're the popular one selling tickets. Get 4 funny friends that can each do 30 minutes. You got a 2-hour show. And you're just hosting, introducing them, and you don't have to cover that much time. All right? Getting your foot into the comedy clubs. Social media is where it's at, guys. Okay? Like, if you're not working on social media, work on your networking and be crushing it in front of comics that are working clubs. Because if they see you crush it in front of them, they're gonna be like, man, I gotta tell this friend of mine you do great in his room. If you're not networking with these comics, they're not going to remember you. And another big tip, this one's for you guys too. Another big tip: always be cool with all the comics you meet, regardless of where they're at, because you never know when an open micer is going to hit it big and go viral and be headlining and doing shows all over the place. And because you were cool to this guy, he can take you along. And at the same token, don't like, say you get famous, don't think that moment of fame can be taken away from you like in an instant, okay? Because it can, and it will, and it does. That's what happens. So if you're not cool to people on the way up, they're gonna watch and laugh as you come all the way down. But if you're cool with people on the way up and you do come down, people that are on their way up, they'll say, man, that guy was cool on his way up. I'm going to give him another hand up so he can stay up and stay relevant. And in the name of the game, becoming famous is one thing. In comedy, becoming famous is one thing, and it's actually remarkably easy to do. Staying famous is a total different monster. Staying relevant is a total different monster. It's the name of the game. If you cannot stay relevant, you're going to be a flash in the pan, 15 minutes of fame, all that. Even with me, and I'm honest enough to admit it, it's hard to beat the Cowboys thing. I have to come up with something better that's better than the Cowboys thing, or else I'm just the Cowboys guy. and it's a pressure on us as comics to constantly come up with fresh material that's going to be relevant and stay in people's news feeds. All right, social media. This is huge, guys, and I'm not gonna go too deep into this because this is like I could be here for hours, but I'm gonna go through here real quick. Establishing your Facebook business page on your own with your comedy brand. If you don't have that, you should get that. If you're not on social media and you think, oh, that stuff's for losers, I'm not. That's beneath me as a comedian, as a performing artist. I don't want to be. I'm an artist. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to promote my stuff. Guys, there's a lot of comics out there that they see themselves as artists and they think that social media is a hassle and that it's too much work and that it's not it's beneath them. You're missing out on thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars by doing that. Okay, especially for comics, social media is a free billboard. If you're not using social media to be put out there, who's gonna know you? Okay, who's gonna buy a ticket to come and see somebody that they've never heard of? How like, it's a hard buy. Think about this. You're taking money out of somebody's pocket. They probably work a job that they don't like, and they probably are like, man, they worked super hard with their sweat to give you $20 and they don't even know you. That's a big risk. Some people would rather take those $20 and go to the strip club. Why are they going to give you the $20? What makes you worth that money that they're going to take out of their pocket that they worked really hard for to say, man, this here, take this. But when you know that you have a good product, that $20, you're going to take it from them and you're going to say, I'm going to give you something worth it, where you make them laugh so hard on the way home, they say that was money well spent, right? That's the name of the game. So establishing a Facebook business page with a review option is probably the most valuable option and the most valuable way of advertising for you guys. If you don't have a Google page with your comedy attached to it, you need to get one, because reviews are everything. If you go to my Facebook page, I have over 2,500 reviews. On Google, I think I have like 16 reviews on when you Google Raymond Orta, I have 16 actual 5-star reviews. And I should probably get more. Google reviews will just skyrocket your brand. If people Google your name, what do they find? Hopefully not you on a sex offender list. So that's the number one tool at Facebook reviews. Because think about it, if people are barely finding out about you and they're thinking about going out to your shows and they read the reviews, man, my reviews are awesome. And your review should be the same too. If you go to my reviews, people say, man, this guy had me laughing from beginning to end. He was super cool with his fans. He took pictures with us. He was super gracious. He was super humble. If you're reading this as a person that's thinking about it and you're on the fence of wanting to come out to a show and you're reading the reviews and you're thinking, man, this guy's cool. He seems like he's super cool with all his fans. It's going to be the tipping point that causes somebody to invest in the comedy ticket. Whereas if you don't have any reviews, nobody knows who you are. They go to your page, they just see a couple of pictures, nobody has any personal relation to you. It's going to be a harder ask to get that money and actually get them to invest in a ticket. Believe it or not, guys, selling a ticket right now is an art. It's an art form. It's hard. And if you can sell one ticket to come and listen to you tell jokes, give yourself a big pat on the back, bro. Give yourself a big pat on the back, because it's hard right now. And I'll tell you that's me with a social media following telling you it's hard to put asses in the seats. So if you can sell one ticket, it's a tip of the hat. If you can sell out a show, oh bro, you're kicking ass. Social media, post consistently on your social media. Even if it's once a day, stick with it. Don't take time off on social media. If you want to post 5 times a day, stick with that 5 times a day. But know your audience, what your audience likes, when your audience is up, when your audience is asleep, and post when they're up, post when they're on social media. My audience, I have a working class audience. My audience is up early. I like to post before that, as they're getting up, so that way I'm the first thing that they see when they're barely leaving to work. They see a funny post, they see a picture, something inspirational that's going to be in their news feed. Lunchtime, I'm posting something that I'm eating, something that's like, oh, they're eating too. They're gonna see that I'm eating. They feel a personal relationship. Like, oh, cool, I'm eating at the same time that this guy's eating. Little things like that are like little ways to connect to your crowd. At night before they go to sleep, I'm posting up a funny video. That way, I'm the last thing that they think about before they go to sleep. That's marketing, because you can get that slot right before they go to sleep. You're leading them into their dream sequence. Maybe they'll dream about you. Maybe they'll have a dream about a comedy show. Maybe they'll think about you and, man, I had a dream where you said a joke about this, and they give you a joke, But it's really important. It's really important to use social media to advertise for yourselves, because right now Facebook Reels pays up to $35,000 a month. Instagram pays up to $10,000 a month. TikTok monetizes after 1,000 followers, and YouTube also pays $10,000 a month for the short based program. You don't even need to have long content. You can put out one joke, one silly one liner, and have it go viral, and your YouTube channel goes viral just on YouTube Shorts. Because YouTube Shorts goes viral, doesn't even matter how many followers you have. You just be putting out YouTube Shorts. You guys got merchandising tips?
Yeah.
Merch? Good. You guys got merch? Awesome. This is tips that my dad taught me. This is like OG stuff right here. Set your price, anything that you're selling, in increments of 20. Okay? Don't try to get fancy. Don't try to tell people, hey, it's going to be $25, it's going to be $35.99. It's just going to make things a lot more complicated. Okay? Make it 20, make it 40, make it $60. Whatever you're selling, make it increments of 20, because everybody always has $20 bills on them. If you're messing around with $25 things, you're going to have to be, every show you show up, you're going to have at least $100 in 5s and 10s to make change. But if you keep everything in $20 bill increments, it's very easy to just make change, make merchandising happen. So if you don't have merch, you're taking out probably sometimes half of the money that you can be making in comedy. So if you don't have merch, get merch and make it merch. This is a big tip on merchandising. Some comics want to get their face on a shirt, and sometimes that's a good deal. Okay, sometimes if you have a marketable face that people want to wear, good on you. Sometimes but think about it, like you guys are rocking shirts. You got a Batman over there, got Boba Fett, right? Is that who that is? And then you rocking anybody on your shirt? No, nobody. You got Wu-Tang. See, he's got Wu-Tang. And like if you think about it, how much like investment would it take from a man to be rocking the face of another man? Like why would a dude be rocking a face of another guy? Man, it's a big investment, right? Because it's like when you're wearing a shirt, like you love Star Wars, right? You're wearing a Star Wars shirt, right? You love Batman, you're wearing a Batman shirt, but it's cool. Those are superheroes. Those are like fantasy. Why would anybody else wear a shirt of a normal person? Like a dude that tells jokes. It's a hard ask. You're wearing a Wu-Tang shirt because they're awesome. They're hype. They smoke weed. Like there's a reason to wear a Wu-Tang shirt. You set in an image. You're sending a message, right? But why would somebody wear a shirt with your face on it just because you tell jokes? It's a hard ask. But if you write a shirt of something that you say, like a catchphrase that you're using throughout the show, and it's just that word, like a friend of mine, and it doesn't even have to be anything funny. It's just catchphrases. Like, think about wrestling, like wrestling is merchandise heaven. If you've ever seen wrestlers, I love wrestling. Like, I love wrestling so much because wrestlers are merchandise kings. And they just sometimes, they're wrestlers. They can put up their face on their own shirt. But if you think about it, most of those wrestling shirts, they have their slogan. They have a "You can't see me," or just like a symbol. It's just cool. So that's what I tell comics is put something on a shirt that's gonna look cool, that somebody would see in a Walmart, not even knowing who you are, and say, "That's a cool shirt. I want that shirt. I want to wear that shirt because it's cool." And if you have that shirt, it doesn't even matter how funny you are. People will buy your shirt because it's cool. So that's merchandising tips right there. All right, now that was the business side. We got a good little business. That was good. Tip, another business side of tip. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one, and I'm gonna after I split this up, the business side, I'm gonna go into the show business side, and we're gonna cut this part, and then you're gonna have two parts of this: business and show. This is one of the big parts of business, and it's super important. As a professional, treat your job as a job. Don't go into a place sloppy. Treat it as a job. And then if you're going into a workplace, and you'll see this probably later on today, don't shit where you eat. What does that mean? Don't try to bang the staff. Because
That's religion
Yeah.
and comedy.
yeah, that's hardcore. That's one of the rules. Like, it's real easy to go to a club and see the beautiful wait staff, and the bartenders are beautiful and they're cool and and they're friendly and they're super cool. It's real easy to fall in love with a waitress because they're just beautiful and friendly, because that's their job. Okay, it's very easy to do it. Very super easy. Man, I thought she loved me. No, she was just getting you fries, bro. She was just getting you fries. Okay, so that's the most important thing. Why? Even you might feel genuine chemistry. Okay, say for example, you just got a spot at the legendary El Paso comic strip, and you got a headlining gig there, and throughout the whole week that you're there, you fall in love with a waitress, and the waitress is just head over heels with you, and you guys form a relationship. Maybe 6 months go down the line, and you're not even there in El Paso anymore. You're cruising, going around the road, and this relationship is strained, and you guys have a terrible breakup. Well, she's gonna still be working that comedy club, and now she's gonna tell the manager she's gonna be seen at the club not doing as good as she should be. Maybe she seems down, and the manager's gonna be like, "Hey, what's going on? Oh, so and I had a breakup. Oh, so the comic? Man, I didn't know you were dating the comic." It's gonna get back to the owner. The owner's gonna be like, "What's going on?" Well, Rita is having issues with so and so. They had a breakup. Do you think you're gonna get booked there? They're not gonna want to book you there, because if you're working there, she's probably gonna call in sick, not gonna want to see you, or it's just gonna make the whole environment awkward, and you just burned a bridge because you couldn't keep your penis in your pants. Don't shit. Don't poo where you eat. All right. So that was the business side of comedy. That's the most important one. Don't crap where you eat, because think about this, and this is a really important one. I want to just drive this emphasis home. If you go to a place and instead of trying to bang the waitresses, you're trying to make them money, that will get you booked again. When you go to a place, a comedy club, and you tell at the end of the show, everybody's dropping the check, and you see them dropping the check, and you say, you know what, guys, our wait staff is part of the show. How about we give them a big round of applause? Man, you know what? Make it a point to drop an extra generous tip in their booklet and make them feel loved tonight, because I know that they were working extra hard. All of a sudden, at the end of the night, they're making an extra $100, $200, that when before everybody at comedy clubs is notoriously a bad tipper. So when you actually help them make money, guess what's going to happen? They're going to tell the managers and be like, "Man, I really enjoyed that guy. This week that Anthony was here, man, I made $500 this week more than I would make on average. Man, you got to bring this guy back, all because you helped them make money." And that's having a person in the club advocating for you to come back is part of the game. All right, so that's the business side of comedy. All right, let's move on to the show business, the show part. All right, that was it for the business side. That was 34 minutes. You just got a knowledge dump of the business side of comedy. You're welcome. All right, my friends, welcome to Module 2 of the Stand-Up Comedy Masterclass. This module, we talk about the show part of show business. The show side of show business, establishing your stage presence. This is probably the most important part of comedy and motivational speaking también, stage presence. If you don't have stage presence, they will eat you alive, okay? And they can smell it, they can feel it, and the good thing about stage presence is that you can totally fake it, all right? So stage presence, the number one way to get stage presence is using your voice. If you haven't had any training in theater, I highly recommend that you do look up some classical training in theater. Nothing too heavy, just ways to know how to use your voice and use your speak from the diaphragm, using every single word, every single muscle in your face to speak. And this is extremely important, okay, because comedy goes back to ancient art forms, and I'm talking about old school art forms where Shakespearean plays, people love to go see these Shakespearean plays, and there was thousands of people watching these plays. They didn't have any microphones, and we go back to the levels of comedy. My favorites are the court jesters. They didn't have any microphones back then, but they had courtyards of people that they had to entertain without a microphone. So get comfortable enough to where you can speak your jokes without a microphone and be heard by, if potentially, thousands of people. This guy knows what I'm talking about, the motivational speaker. If you're not comfortable doing that, you should get comfortable, because there's going to be a time where you get to a gig, and this has happened to me many a times, where you get to a gig and you'll learn this too. You should always, if you haven't done so, invest in a small PA system, okay? Because I've shown up to a gig before, and I'm like, all right, where's your microphone? And they're like, we thought you brought it. We thought you came with the microphone. And I was like, yep, I should have come with a microphone. Didn't think about that, and that's why I learned that lesson. I always carry a small PA system, and it's about the size of a lunchbox, but it's very powerful. It's about $500, and it's a very, very dense little portable speaker that I can throw in the trunk of my car with a microphone, a power cord, very easy to set up, and sets up in about 3 minutes. Minimal setup, maximum output, maximum profit. Fácil, okay? But if you show up to a place and they don't have a microphone, and you have the ability to speak your jokes out loud in a clear voice that enunciates, you can get through the gig and still get paid. I've done it plenty of times. All right, so speaking from the diaphragm, if you don't know about that, again, take the acting courses, but that just means speaking with your belly. Don't let your throat do all the speaking. Speak with power from the diaphragm. Do you guys know the difference? You know the difference, right? I'm pretty sure you know the difference. You know that? Like right now, I'm just speaking from right here from the throat. But here, I'm speaking from my stomach. You see the difference? Here's just the throat. I'm just letting the throat do all the muscle. But here, I'm using my diaphragm to get the words out with force. You see the difference? So, to tell the jokes without a microphone and not using your throat to do all the work, because dude, to do an hour without a microphone, it's gonna be hard. But you work that diaphragm muscle, and it's a show. It's a show. A lot of comedians that go up on stage, this is how you. The name of the game in comedy is to separate yourself from the pack, because comedy is a competition. Everybody's here. They're competing for stage time. How do you separate yourself from the other comedians so that people remember you? By speaking clearly and speaking with diction. You separate yourself from the people that are too lazy to do that, right? And there's a lot of the comedians that you see them go up there, and sometimes they're just mumbling. Sometimes they're not speaking clearly. Sometimes they just put it in autopilot, and they just phone it in, and it doesn't come out clear. And you notice that some people go up there on stage and they don't take it seriously, and those are the people that they're sloppy. They come out as sloppy. They come out as like they don't have any stage presence. So when you don't have stage presence, the type of people that go up and grab a microphone stand, and they get the microphone out of the mic stand and they leave the microphone stand in front of them, it shows that you're not confident in yourself to want to be in front of the mic stand. There's some comics that can use the mic stand and just do a show and leave the mic stand in front of them, and they're using their hands and stay there. And that's fine. If that's your style, that's totally fine. But if you want to show an establishing stage presence, go up to the mic stand and watch how powerful this looks. When you go up to the mic stand, grab it, take the mic out and grab the mic stand and walk it all the way to the back of the stage to the diagonal furthest corner away from you and put it there and then walk back to the middle of the stage. It just shows that you're comfortable in your own element, and you say, I'm confident enough to leave the room in total silence while I walk over here and I prop this mic stand, and I'm going to come back all the way back, and it's going to take me a few seconds, but then when I come back here, I'm going to give you the best show of your life. But that confidence that you took, because it takes confidence. Every comedian wants to grab the mic and say something quick, and we're going to go over this too. High energy versus low energy. When we were talking about the mic stand, and if you want to be a low energy comic, cool. There's money in that too. It's just getting harder and harder to be a low energy comic. You have to be witty. You have to be super smart to be a low energy comic. Aside from that, people want to see movement. People want to see you walk around. And I'm going to talk about dissecting the stage into multiple parts to showing complete stage dominance. I'm going to talk about body language here shortly. So high energy comics, like if you know how to do voices, Joseph, like some comics are afraid of stepping out of that comfort zone of being high energy, but you have to think about it like this. It's a show. And as a motivational speaker, you're giving them energy, you're giving them a show, and that's what they're paying for. If you're not willing to give them that energy, what are they paying the money for? It's an exchange. There has to be an exchange there. You're giving them your energy, you're giving them something funny, you're giving them a show, a performance. A lot of comics think they go up there and they're just going to speak and tell jokes. Very few comics think about it as they're going to go up there and give a performance. And when you think about it as giving a performance and really take it seriously to where every single word makes sense and has power, all of a sudden your comedy show is, hey, what's up? You know, just telling some jokes up here. No, it's a performance versus a show. And people pay big money for performances versus, yeah, I guess I'll go watch this guy do some jokes, tell some stories or whatever. Body language, important to establish stage presence. If you're quiet and here, the crowd can sense that, and the crowd can feel you being nervous, and when they feel that, they're going to be nervous to laugh. And if they're nervous to laugh, they're going to feel like, oh, when's this guy going to get off? Because I don't like feeling nervous. The crowd doesn't like feeling nervous. They're going to be anticipating for you to get off already because you're nervous. But if you go up there, establish yourself with a nice open chest and a broad power stance. You ever watch like rock and roll stars when they take the lead stage, like when a front man is like there with his leg on top of the monitor, crotch up all up in your face, just hip thrusting, yeah, oh yeah, like, oh, everybody is locked in on him because he's showing extreme confidence. Comedy is a delicate line between rock star, hip thrusting, leather pants up in your face, and timid dude overcoming a lot of bullying issues. Right there, right in the middle. Right?
Hit him right in the heart.
Just like,
People like you that
just tag me next time, bro. Just mention me, bro. Storytelling and voice connotation. A lot of people and a lot of comics go up on stage and they're not cognizant of the way their voice sounds. And that could be really detrimental if you're a monotone guy, because after a while, your voice kind of gets boring if you stay at one rate. Or somebody like Jeff Foxworthy is a perfect example. Like after about 45 minutes, Jeff Foxworthy's voice starts becoming a little squeaky in the ears. And it's like, for 45 minutes, he's crushing it. And at that 45-minute mark, that just like, well, you might be a redneck. That little squeak just starts getting to you at that 45-minute mark. Can your voice be palatable and enjoyable for an hour? That's just like, forget about the jokes. Forget about the substance of your material. Can your voice be heard and enjoyed for an hour? And if you're not enjoyable for an hour, what can you do to fix it? And why aren't you enjoyable for an hour? There's some people that they're just never going to be enjoyable for an hour. Regardless, that's their style. That's fine. That's totally fine, because some people are palatable for 30 minutes and that's their spot. That's their spot. Not everybody is cut to be for an hour, but you can still make a lot of money doing 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Find your spot. Find your audience, find your niche, where you're comfortable at, and dominate that part. Dominate that moment. But if you want to be a headliner, you have to take that part into consideration, is to work on your voice. And the only reason that I have the experience that I have is because I was on radio and I was constantly having to listen to my own voice with monitors. And then having that experience with radio allowed me to really monitor myself and use voice inflection, because when you're telling a story, you can get real hyped up here and get all intense, and then all of a sudden it gets soft and you hear someone's true feelings with pauses and suspense. The art of storytelling is that building, taking away, and putting it together in a beautiful, where it sounds appealing to the ear. So that's storytelling and jokes. Work on your voice connotation, and you could do a one voice more, one word more powerful in a joke here. One set might kill one night, but then you say, man, I'm gonna try to tweak. Instead of saying this word powerful, I'm gonna say this word powerful, and just changing that. You could be inside your set all day and just playing with the different connotations of words and different pauses, and you'd be generating laughs just on how you say a word differently. Play around with your set and work on saying it different ways: excited, sad, mad. Like, say you have a bit where you're just mad. Imagine if you took that bit and said the same things in a happy voice. It would be a funny experiment. Like, just try it one time and see what happens, because a lot of it, like, if you take it and flip it, there's comedy in there. It's a strange, the words, and I'm gonna go over this too. Language. Here we go. Language, bro. Words in comedy are everything, and this is, I'm gonna get a little biblical here too, just so you guys know. Language is super, super important. Every single word in comedy carries weight. And in the Bible, it says that every word that we say, we will be judged. Even the words that we say under our breath, they're that important. Words, we're the only creatures that have the ability and conscience to say words. And the reason that we got that ability is because we can create with our words and we can destroy with our words. Our words, when they say words can't hurt, no, words can destroy, words can cause wars, and at the same time, words can create and bring life and uplift and give strength. So eliminate language that destroys or divides your audience, okay? This is heavy duty stuff. If you're up on stage and you're doing a show and you say something like highly offensive, and I'm going to use my personal example, the one that I find cringy is when people blaspheme and they say "Gee, damn it." When somebody says that, it's like a cringe. Like, ugh. If I would rather have somebody go up there and yell "cuntity cunt, cuntity cunt, cunt," than have somebody say "Gee, damn it." Like, for me, it's just a nasty, feeling. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. I know that there's a lot of people, as soon as they hear that word, even on social media, I scroll immediately. I can't stand hearing that word. I scroll. I don't care how funny the video is. I'm scrolling. I don't want my family to hear that. I'm scrolling. If I'm in a club and I hear a comic before me say that word, I'm just like, ugh, I have to go outside and I'm like, smoke a joint or something, because I'm just like, I don't even want to hear it. I know for a fact that I'm not the only person that thinks like that. I know that there's a lot of people in the room that love the Lord with all their heart, and then as soon as they hear that word, the whole room, I can feel them just like, I don't like this. Take it out of your vocabulary, and I only tell this to the people that I love. eliminate that word completely because it's bad for your health. You're calling the Almighty Creator to come down on you with damnation. It's not a good look for anybody, and it's not gonna get you anywhere, and it's not gonna be the big punchline to your joke that you think is the masterpiece. It's just get rid of it, get it out of your vocabulary. And there's other language in there that is divisive like that. That's powerful, and you could really just start walking people. And when you walk people, and we had a discussion about this the other day, and Anthony and I, about somebody walking like 3 tables before this guy even had a chance to go on stage. And when you walk somebody, think about it, that's 3 tables that just got up in disgust, and they're like, screw this, I'm out of here. Think about, maybe those three tables have never been to a comedy show, never been to even that place. All of a sudden, because you performed there, you disgusted them so much, those 3 tables left, and they're probably never going to come back to a comedy show or that place, or both. They're never going to go back to a comedy show or that place. You think that place is going to want to book you back again? No. You just cost them 3 tables of business. Those 3 tables might have put in $200 each of drinks and food, and now you just cost that venue $600 because you wanted to tell a joke about how you swing a dead baby from its umbilical cord or something really grotesque and awful. I don't. No, I say that about me because I did.
I've been doing it all wrong.
I would, and I've been there, and we've been there. Like I used to. I have a dark side to my joke book. Okay, there's a very dark pages in my joke book, and but I'm telling you these things because I've learned through my own journey as a comedian through years, and the way that I get booked is by having people have a joyful experience where they spend money, they're drinking, having a good time, they eat food, they have a good laugh, they go home and they bang. That's it. They bang. They bang and they bang and they bang it again. And so this goes into the this is language. We go into the storytelling, but into the banging part. Don't attack your crowd. Like, say for example, I saw this comedian guy like look at this couple, and he was trying to do crowd work, and he's just like, oh, what's up with you guys? You guys been married a long time? Oh, this is 3 years. Yeah, he's probably cheating on you, right? And it's just like, and like you could tell that like the guy did that. He just like threw up his hands like this, like what? And
We just got over it.
yeah, no, and exactly. This is exactly what happened. Like this guy said, like, oh, he's probably cheating on you. Well, the way he threw up his hands and the way the chick looked at him, right? She was just like, you see, that even he knows type thing, right? And this dude might have taken this girl to the comedy club, trying to make up for the fact that he was cheating on her. Yes, he was cheating on her, but he's there trying to make up, trying to salvage his marriage, and he took his wife to the comedy club, and then because you can't come up with a good joke, you're going to bring up their infidelity to try to make fun of it because you can't come up with good material and you want to call this dude out, and all of a sudden, that couple, you ruined them. You probably ruined their whole marriage. You might have caused them their whole marriage. This guy hates you when he's driving home. This guy loathes your existence. Loathes you, just despises you, just wishes you the absolute best. His wife just thinks you're the worst. And these people are just sitting in silence as they're driving home, thinking about how big of a piece of scum you are just because of you. Like their whole night is ruined. They paid $50. Their drinks didn't even taste good. Nothing. Yeah, and now they're going home. Do you think they'll ever come out to a comedy show again? They're never gonna come out to a comedy show again.
Pain.
Unless they're masochistic freak sociopaths, you know. So be aware that people are paying to forget their problems. Don't bring their problems into this arena where they're trying to forget these problems. Okay. Do not tear down your audience. They paid money to see you. You are there to provide them an escape from reality and to entertain. See, it even made the PowerPoint. Use descriptive words to set up the scene or to get people captivated with your story. You're talking about how you wanted to be more funny in your motivational speaking. Descriptive words is everything. Like instead of calling somebody like go around the easy route. Instead of saying, "Oh, the guy was fat," it's easy. That's easy. How fat? This guy was 2 cheeseburgers away from washing himself with a sponge on a stick. All of a sudden, you paint a different picture, right? But it's like you said the same thing, said it differently, and now it adds a punch to it. It's descriptive words using similes. You remember similes in English? Favorite thing. Similes. It's like an easy punchline. Like, using the word like or as, or straight up metaphors and exaggerations. Like, this guy was so big, his shadow weighed 16 pounds. Exaggerations like that are what's funny. So, exaggerations, similes, metaphors, and my personal favorite, alliteration. I'm an avid admirer of alliteration.
He gets it. I get it. I like
Just
this
some
guy.
This guy, he gets it. This guy gets it. All right, opening statement. All right, this is good for you guys. Oh man, how is everyone doing tonight? That's the worst thing you could start off a show with. That's the worst thing you could, bro. If you're starting off, how is everyone doing tonight? Guess what? You just did 80%. 80% of comedians start off their set the same exact way, and I'm guilty. It's a lazy, easy pop right out the gate. Hey, how you guys doing tonight? All right. Yeah. Just think of something better. Just think of something better than that. Like, and it's your own creative process. Like, you have to go in there because the first 6 seconds that you have are the most important. What you do with those first 6 seconds determines how your set's gonna go. If you don't have an opening line for the first 6 seconds, that's the number one priority on your list, is to come up with an opening line. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to come up with an opening line in just a little bit. What to do with a mic stand, we already went over that. Grab the mic stand, put it in the back, get rid of it all entirely, and show that you have dominance of the microphone and make the stage your business. All right. Let's see. Okay, we talked about the stage presence with the mic stand and body language. Now, I haven't talked about this, dividing the stage into 6 pieces. I'm going to use the dry erase board here. Say, for example, you have a rectangular stage that we're working with. Okay. I'm going to do it right there real small. You guys can barely see it there. You're working with a rectangular stage. The mic stand is right here in the front, usually. And say you take the mic stand and you leave it there, and you're gonna just stay here, right behind the mic stand. That's your spot on stage, and you don't move. That's right. But if we take this same stage, cut it in half long ways here, and then cut it in thirds here, and you take the mic stand and you put it in the corner right back here or back here, and throughout your set you make it a point to touch every single point, every single square on the stage at some point throughout your set. At some point throughout your set, you touch every square. That will establish you as dominant of that stage. If you only do one square, you dominated that little piece of the stage. But if you want to dominate the whole stage, touch all 6 squares and watch how it amplifies your performance, because it's going to make you look so confident. And just make it a point. If it's a small stage, use all of it. If it's a small circle stage, cut it into pieces, use all of that circle stage. But the rule of 6 there, just use all the stage and watch how that amplifies your stage presence by like multiples, like straight up. If you're only standing in one square right now, how many of you guys are standing in only one square right now? No, you guys are using a lot of the front of the stage probably.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we use the back part of the stage, right?
Very
That's
rare, yeah.
yeah,
That's what I'm-
because as a comedian, we get really comfortable in being on the lip of the stage
Yeah.
because we want to be closer to the audience. Use this. This is a huge right here, okay? When you want to like, we want to be close to the audience because we yearn for a human connection, and that's why I'm the same way. I love being on the edge of the audience. Very rarely do I go back here. I very rarely do I cover the back parts because I want to be up close and in their face. But when you use the back parts of the stage, you suck them in hard into your reality. Use it very, very strategically where you want to get quiet and you're almost scared to say something. Like you're about to say something and you're like, no, I can't even say it. And then you just run to the back and like, I shouldn't even say it. And they're just like, come on, say it. No. And you're hiding in the back. No, I'm just, everyone's going to be screaming for you to say, oh, okay. And you just walk from the back to the front and you start doing it again. But you built up that suspense. Now they're just sucked into your story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Big time, right? All right. All right. What to avoid. Avoiding things that make you look sloppy. Clothing mistakes. So clothing mistakes, dress for the job. Like this is really important. So if you want to attract an audience that brings money and pays money, you want to dress like that. And if you want to attract everything that you are, you're going to attract in a person. And everything like the person that you are is going to be the average of your audience. So, and a prime example of this, look at Larry the Cable Guy. Okay, when you look at Larry the Cable Guy, pay attention to his comedy. He's wearing a vest, camouflage hat, flannel vest, jeans, and then you get a huge crowd shot of his crowd, and look at his crowd. Almost every single person in there looks exactly the same. They're all wearing, for real. And this is, look at the same thing with like somebody like Dane Cook. You see Dane Cook, high energy dude. Hey, what's up, man? College dude, what? But look at the crowd that he's attracting. That type of person. So if you go up there sloppy, not caring about your persona, your brand, your comedy, and you go up there just not caring, you're gonna attract audiences that don't care, that don't have anything invested in what you have to say, or it's just a bad clientele, you know. But if you put yourself up there, you're like I don't like wearing suits. I'm never gonna be the dude that wears suits. So I can't tell you guys to wear a suit, but I will tell you guys I wear these nice Western shirts, button ups, and I attract people that wear the same thing. Like not necessarily my style shirts, but you know, a nice starched shirt, designer pants, some boots, cowboy boots that these guys, that's how my crowd usually dresses. Now, usually Cowboys jerseys too, because I'm a Cowboys fan. That's just the type of way that you guys present yourself is the type of crowd and person that you're going to attract. And whether they make money or not, that's on you. Like I know a very, very successful guy who recently became successful simply because he changed the way he dresses. Same jokes, different dress. And the guy had a style like yours, like a real aggressive, angry style, but he was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and he was coming off as just a like, oh man, this guy's like hardcore, like he's kind of like abrasive. He's a douchebag. Like he's like, yeah, this guy's
Calm down, sir.
yeah, and yeah, and but people, it was hard for this guy. It was hard for this guy to get booked. But dude, this guy got himself a custom suit fitted to this guy. Like he looks really, and he's a fit guy. Like he looks good. Got a custom suit. Says the same jokes, but because he's wearing a suit, all of a sudden it's like, hey, this guy's cool because he's just ripping into people wearing a power suit, looking like a corporate douchebag, but it suddenly works from this guy. And from one moment, the club owner that just had him was like, who's this guy? Like, didn't even recognize the guy. He had just booked him in the club, put on a suit, changed the profile picture, changed his name on Facebook, and because his whole image changed, he got booked by the same guy who just didn't even want him. He wanted him because he changed his whole image. That's up to you. I'm just letting you know what it is. Imagine that you are who your crowd is. So, like, whoever you want to be, like, imagine putting yourself in the crowd, like, as your own audience member is like a trip. It's kind of a trip, but that's who you are. Like, that's who you're gonna attract. What to avoid? Addictions. If you're gonna go on stage, bro, and you can't handle your addictions, drug addictions, or like, it's cool to like, I smoke weed before I go on stage, but can I go on stage and I smoke weed and I crush it? Absolutely. I've never let weed ever dictate a set and make it go bad. If anything, it's always gone great and amplified it. But have I seen headlining comedians get too high to go on stage and forget their set, and instead of doing an hour only do 20 minutes? Yes. And that's unprofessional. If you're gonna go up on stage and you can't handle your addictions, or you can't handle your drugs, and it's gonna make you look sloppy, just don't do it, because it's gonna hurt your brand. And if you're hurting your brand, you're hurting yourself, like, in the long run. So like don't even, just stay home and do your drugs, like, for real. Don't, like, and you don't know who's in the audience watching. Any show could be a huge break for you. If they see you deliver a real good performance, they can book you for a Christmas party that night for $1,000 because they saw you do a great 15-minute set. Alcohol. Okay, along from addictions to, like, sometimes, like, heavier drug use is very visible on stage. Like, when people use heavy drugs, I've seen comics go on stage and they're just like sweating bullets, pale. They're just like real hardcore. Like, the audience sees it, and it's cool for some comics. It's like, yeah, he's a rock star, cool, whatever. But for the most part, comedians that are up and coming, it just looks sloppy, and the crowd is gonna be like put at an uneasy state. Same thing with alcohol. Real easy for us to have a drink on stage. Super easy for us to, even before we go on stage, to have a few drinks to get us loose. This is probably, I even used to drink Jack Daniels before I went on stage, and a Jack Daniels after I went on stage, and it was like part of my ritual. But alcohol, let me tell you this. Alcohol is it's not beneficial to your body in any way. Okay? It's not beneficial to your body, and it costs money, and it's taking away from your bottom line. So when you go to a club, if they give you free drinks, cool. Have your free drinks. Have at them. But if you're having to pay out of your pocket to actually consume these things, you're not bringing more profit for your home. And that's what I'm trying to do, is get you guys bringing profit to your home so you can put food on your table for your family. And if you're buying alcohol at $20 for every 2 drinks, it starts stacking up. If they're giving you free drinks at the place you're performing at, cool. But that does come with a territory too, because it's real easy to say, oh, the bar will probably give you 2 drinks, and if you take those 2 drinks and you behave yourself, awesome, everything's cool. But if the bar owner says, hey, you guys have a free bar tab, go ahead, whatever you guys want to drink, it's on me. Any comedian's gonna be, ya chingue, what, before you even go on stage, you're already trashed, you're completely drunk, you go on stage, you can't even hear what you're saying, you're highly unprofessional, and you just completely. Am I calling?
Yes, this is a witch hunt.
Is this an intervention?
By the end of the thing, you're gonna have, this is Jesse.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do what Jesse does. No, and if you're going up there, and I'm glad that you're here and learning from this, because this is
the anger, the alcohol.
Yeah, this is
all wrong.
So the next is like insulting the bar staff and degrading. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That's my set. That's my set.
But they love it.
Yeah.
I quit.
Just threw myself out the window.
The first four, bro.
But think about it. Like, if a bar owner says, "Okay, I had these guys perform, and they just pounded the beers, and they just pounded the liquor, and they pounded the drinks," at the end of the day, they're gonna look at it and say, "Well, yeah, I had these guys perform, but they consumed, $600 worth of alcohol. Was it worth it for me? Man, I and then they started acting up, berating the bar staff and all stuff, right? And was it worth it for me? The guy, I had people walk out because this guy got all drunk, and and all of a sudden the bar owner's like, man, I don't want to have those guys back anymore because it ended up costing me money instead of making me money. And ultimately, we're there to make the venue money, and when we make the venue money, we get booked more times. That's simple. Insulting the bar staff and degrading the venue. If they're paying you, it's a risky move. Okay, it's a risky move. Can you make fun of the bar staff? Can you make fun of the venue? Absolutely, I've done it before. But do it with class and do it in a way where it's like lighthearted. You're not there talking crap about the kitchen in the back having roaches and don't order anything here. The wait staff puts,
Bless your heart. Hey, he's a big dumb animal, but he's our big dumb animal.
Calling women names. All right, this is calling. But think about this: calling women names. In the old days, 80s comedy, it was fair play.
Yeah.
Everything was fair play. You could call a woman a whore. You could call a woman a bitch. You could call them all sorts of things, and it was cool. Nowadays, with the PC culture and everything, and I'm break this down to the business part of it. If you call a woman a demeaning name, and just throw it out the window. Just throw the word bitch out the window. Throw the word whore out the window. Think of something funnier than that. Think of a funnier phrase in that's clean, that you still get your point across, but you're not calling them names, because a woman has a lot of pull in the scene in a club. Like, all of a sudden you call a woman a bad word, she gets up, you think the guy's gonna get up with her and go? Yeah. Whereas if the guy got up and got mad, the chick could probably even I've seen chicks just stay there. They don't care. They really don't care. They don't care. But if a chick gets up and the guy's, better leave, like, very few times is a guy gonna be like, nah, I paid for these tickets. I'm gonna enjoy this show. She can wait in the car. I don't care. Like, very few times. I've seen that shit happen too. So I mean, don't get it twisted. But
Legends.
yeah, legends. Like, he's like, nah, man, I'm gonna watch this show. That's her fault. She got offended. That's her fault. That's some hardcore stuff. But don't even get to that point. Don't make it get to that point where you're walking a girl out just because. And I mean, trust me, sometimes women are the ones that are just always talking. They always have something. They're always the loudest hecklers, and you want to tell them something. I'm gonna go into that too. How to deal with hecklers. I talked about not crapping where you eat. Don't sleep with a bar staff. And don't expect to be paid if you're not treating it like an actual job. Okay? If you show up to it like acting like a job, where it's like, hey, I'm here to work. Can you be drinking heavily and getting drunk on the job at a regular job? Probably not, unless you work something like a lifeguard or something. But if you do treat it like a job and you get there on time, professional, with clean attire, and you're wanting to treat it like a job and help people make money, like the wait staff, you're gonna get paid like if it's a career, because you're helping everybody make money. So we're gonna go over this. I have a few more slides here, and we're about to wrap up. The art of the host. Okay, so the art of the host, opening a show is, again, don't start off with how you guys doing tonight. Start off powering a show. The host is probably the most important part of the show. They're the least paid, and it's probably the hardest part of the show, and they do the least amount of time, but they're the ones that actually set the standards of the show. It's if you have a bad host, you can have a bad show completely, unless you have a really, really strong feature and headliner that overcomes the host. But the host is the most important part. Welcoming the crowd, establishing the room as a that you're gonna do comedy here. Like, hey, what's up, guys? We're about to have a comedy show. Some of these venues where you get hired, they don't even know that you're doing a comedy show. It's just a bar, restaurant, and it's like, yeah, just over there, just where, and people are like, they have their backs turned to you. They don't even know that there's a show going on. That the name of the host, the job of the host is to get up there, get everybody's attention, to turn to the show and let them know, hey, we're going to be doing a comedy show. That's not a key to just jump right into your jokes. No, you have to tell them, because some people have never been to a comedy show. Hey, there's rules at the comedy show. Let's turn off your cell phones. Keep your table talk to a minimum. Let's if you're gonna heckle, don't do that, because these guys are gonna rip you up. Like, set the place up so that everybody knows the rules. That way, when you're bringing up the comics, everybody is having a good set because everybody's comfortable in the rules. If you don't establish the rules as a host, the crowd is a wild animal. Whatever the comedian decides is like that determines where the crowd goes. And sometimes the part of the host is one of the hardest parts of the host is holding on to good jokes, because sometimes a comedian will go up there and bomb, and you have to come up and bring the audience back up because the other comedian bombed. If you delivered all your good jokes in the front and you don't have another good joke, the whole room can fall flat. So it's a real delicate balance of using real good jokes to open up the show, but also keeping some good jokes in case somebody bombs, and bringing up the level of the crowd all over again. Okay, the art of the toast. This is leading from the host to the toast. So if you're hosting, chances are they're gonna probably send you a drink at some point on stage. If you're doing a good job, anyway, you probably get sent a drink on stage. You should already write a toast that's really classy, like ahead of time, that when you grab the drink, you just say, you know what, guys? And my personal one is, to your health and your wealth, may the Almighty always provide in abundance. And it's such a powerful, powerful toast. And it doesn't have to be funny, but you could write a funny toast. But I like to give a genuine toast that's powerful, and everybody raises a drink. What does that do? Ching, ching, ching. Bar sales, people buying shots. Or you can hold up the shot and say, you know what? Before I take the shot, I want everybody here to buy a shot. Everybody, make sure you get the wait staff. And when everybody has their shot, we're going to take this shot. I'm going to put this shot right here on the bar stool. And when everybody has their shot, we're going to raise a shot, and we're going to have a toast. And then you go on with the show until everybody gets their shot. Man, that all of a sudden the bar owner loves you, because you just sold a whole round of shots, and they just made probably like an extra $1,000 with that one move you just did. Okay? Huge move right there. The art of the roast. All right. If you're ever doing a roast, keep it light at first as you start off, because you can turn off the audience immediately if you start off going for the jugular. This is a roasting and a roast battle, but it's also roasting like dealing with a heckler. Sometimes as comedians, when a heckler gets up and out of line, we want to attack them right out the gate, and we want to just viciously put them in their place. And sometimes that'll turn the crowd off, because you just completely decimated this guy right out the gate. But if you lead him into it and pepper him with some jabs, and then it's like this guy keeps walking into him and heckling, and you're like, sir, please, sir, you're not gonna win. Just sit down, sir. And he's just constantly trying to get at you, and then you finally deliver that killer blow. Then the audience will be like, yeah, that guy deserved it. He had it coming, you know. So start off light by like things that they're wearing, and then even try to keep it positive while you're roasting somebody, because you can't even be mad at somebody that's making fun of you for being too handsome, you know. Like, so it's keeping it positive, and still roasting somebody is like one of the, I like to call it, is exaggerated compliments, and just compliments that are so goofy that they have to be funny. I used to have this dude, like for example, when I see a guy with a huge mustache, I say, wow, It's an impressive mustache, sir. Are you running for sheriff next year? That's amazing. You know, and it's, how can you be mad at that? I just made fun of your mustache in a way, but it's lighthearted and it's positive. Take a lesson from Kramer. Don't be racist.
This is a witch hunt.
This is a witch hunt. Yeah, and it again. What this is a big time. This is the big time. Big time little nugget right here. It's never cool to lose your cool. It's better to just say, you know what, sir? All right, that's my time. Have a good night. Walk off stage. And just keep it cool, than to lose your cool and end your career before it even started. Like somebody's filming it, you're over here dropping N-bombs on a Puerto Rican.
Have you been spilling everything? Dude, everything!
All right, this is good right
Who's
here.
very Puerto Rican? What am I going to do with this bag of N-words?
Who's gonna get him? Who's gonna get him?
Who's going to use them? Grandma's dead?
I really hope you built him
Grandma's
up because you
dead.
stripped him down to his bare bones.
Just peeling away the onion layers. All right,
We're gonna build a champion out of this one.
You have to break them first.
this is probably one of the most important parts of the comedy session right here that I'm about to drop on you is coming up with material. Coming up with material is probably the hardest thing to do as a comedian and as a motivational speaker. This is going up right into your alley on how to make your stuff funnier to you. This is the most intense exercise that I've ever come up with as a comedian, and it's helped me tremendously on how to come up with material that is authentic to me. Because I used to be all about the crowd, and you guys are probably in the stage where you're pressured into going up on stage and making the crowd laugh, right? Because that's what we got to do. But very rarely do we ever think about ourselves, and do we think about things that we want to say that make us laugh. And we feel, at least when I first started, I wanted to make sure that the audience was, that I was doing jokes that were crowd friendly, which is where you get comedians doing jokes that you think are real, like culturally appropriate, like you want to get connected to that. So you hear comedians doing the chancla jokes and, hey, what's up with a chancla? Hey, oh man, I got hit with a chancla. And it's like, but you're trying to be funny because you want to have them laugh from something that they came up with. So it's like, yeah, that's when we're pressured. When you reach ultimate mastery of comedy, you go up there wanting to make yourself laugh, and you don't care about the crowd. If you're making yourself laugh, you're hoping that you're laughing hard enough and your jokes are so good that you're making yourself laugh that they are captivated and sucked into your own reality to laugh at whatever you have to say. That's the mastery of comedy. When you're saying anything that you want to say and you're saying it because you genuinely find it funny. Now, the hardest exercise to do is imagine yourself in a room by yourself, in a comedy club by yourself as an audience member. You're the only person there. Nobody else showed up. You're the only person. There's a host, and it's you and the audience member as yourself. And the host is on stage, and he's about to bring you on stage, not as the audience member, but you as a performer. But you're going to be on stage watching yourself as an audience member, and you're going to be on stage as a performer looking at yourself as an audience member. It's like a meditation experiment and a meditation exercise for yourself. So while you're in this meditation exercise, I want you to think of yourself, and I want you to be as defensive as you can. I just want you to just not even want to be in the club. Not just hate this whole place. Just like, meh, what am I doing here? This is stupid. And who's this host? Ugh, this stupid douche. Who's he bringing up? Who's this guy? Who? Raymond. It's mullet. And as you see yourself coming up on stage, I want you to just really have a genuine disdain for yourself as an audience member. Just be like, who's this? Like, just don't even want to laugh at you. You know, don't want to laugh at you, because the point of this exercise is no one in the general public will ever look at you as hard as you critique your own self. Nobody will ever critique yourself as hard as you can go on yourself. And while you're hating yourself on stage, and while you're looking at yourself in this meditation exercise, and you see yourself on stage, what do you say to yourself from as a performer that will disarm you as the audience member? That will be genuinely funny to make you go from here to, all right, this guy's pretty funny. All right, this guy's pretty funny. What's the opening line? The opening line to that is what's your opening line? What is it? How you guys doing tonight? No, I hate this guy. This guy sucks. Yeah. So how am I doing tonight? Look at me. I'm pissed. Say something that's gonna win you over as your own person. What's gonna win you over? Looking as yourself, making fun of yourself. Say something about yourself that's gonna just disarm you as an audience member. Say, you know what? Maybe I should give this guy a chance. That's your opening line. And that's how you come up with material in general. Just sitting in that meditation room, watching yourself perform and saying, what am I going to say that's going to make me laugh? And we can go over things about your childhood, maybe things that happened to you as a teenager. That this is a great place to find trauma and exploit it and turn darkness and find positivity in it. That's what comedy is. Taking the most pessimistic parts of your life and peppering it with optimism. If you can find dark subjects in your life and make them into bright side, that's where comedy lies. Tragedy plus time equals comedy. As simple as it gets. Teenager, lots of anything that you think of that's your personal story. Maybe something that's like you got bullied. Maybe you got sucker punched. I got sucker punched in high school. This dude broke my nose, and I wish I could have it back. That's one of those fights that I just wish I could have back. And I just have this little scenario that plays out in my head that I just find him in a mall, and I just sucker punch him the way he sucker punched me, and it backfires. Like, I thought I got one on him, like, bah, break his nose. He's collapsed on the ground, and all of a sudden his family comes out and like, what are you doing, you monster? He just got out of chemo, right? Just like, I'm just like feeling like the biggest piece of crap in the world, right? But these are little, and this is like actually in my head, but it's like, man, it would be a funny scenario if this actually happened, right? Like things that I really want, like I in my head, I want to say, man, how could this formal situation be made completely informal, and how could I turn that into a joke? That's my main thing, is breaking up formal events with that are awkwardly formal and breaking them up with comedic relief. All right. Are you married? Getting into adulthood? Are you single? How's that life? Look into your life and find the good, the bad, and the ugly. Your hopes and even your fears have great a well for material. So how to get laughs? Laughter is like a wave. If you've ever had big time laughs, don't jump on top of your laughs. Let the laughs happen, and let the laughs stop, and enjoy that moment that you had big laughs, and let them stop and let them gain their breath, and then start again. It's like a wave coming in and going out. Let it come in and let it go out. And you're a conductor of a symphony. Can you make people laugh through making them disgusted? Yeah. Can you make them laugh from being like sad? Yeah. You can make them laugh by making them angry? Yeah. You can make laughter happen from all different emotions just based on how you say things. And it's you're a conductor. You decide where you take the crowd. Using pauses and interruptions to generate more laughter from your audience. So pauses, a lot of comedians think that they have to get laughs from pauses. I mean, they have to get laughs from words. Like, man, I have to say a joke in order to get a laugh. But you can actually say words and stop and just pause and look and get a laugh just by pausing. Just play with your set, find a spot where you want to pause, and see if you can generate a laughter from a pause. And that's half of the job that you don't have to do. Like, man, if you can get a laugh just pausing here and then get another laugh with the actual joke, the actual punchline comes in, you just pepper them with a jab, and all of a sudden a big haymaker over the top. Now you got 2 laughs where there was only 1 before, right? All right. Finding your ideal audience, and I think this is probably I think these are 2 last slides right here. Finding your ideal audience through social media is the best way. Your own talents, you got some crazy talents. You can do some strength stuff like bending steel bars and stuff. Any talent that you have that you think that other people don't have, use it. Put it in your set. If other comedians say, "Oh, that's hacky," "Oh, he's doing voices," or "Oh, he's doing like crowd work," screw what other comedians think, because other comedians and their opinion will not put food on your table. Remember that. The opinion of other comedians is not going to put food on your table. Okay? Never. Because if a comedian wants to go to a comedy show that you're at, he's probably going to get in there for free. He probably knows the security guard. He probably knows the guy to get in the back door. Comedians rarely pay to get into comedy shows. We just walk in and we're hanging out, you know? So don't let the opinions of other comedians dictate what you do on stage. If you have a funny talent, exploit it. It could make you go viral, and all of a sudden you're known as that guy. Like, people think that like the Cowboy stuff is gimmicky. It fills the place up with Cowboys fans. I'll take it, you know? Find your audience, get them to pay to see you, name of the game. Forget about what comedians say. Yeah, most comedians do not pay to attend your shows and are actually laughing more when you bomb. Some comedians, I used to do this when I was in the San Antonio scene. I used to cater to the comedians and want to make the comedians laugh. And when we do that, we usually use it with dark humor that's really hardcore that only we find funny. But then the other comedians, they're laughing because they know that you're no longer their competition. You're no longer eating their pie because you're just continuously taking a dump on your own brand for the sake of making them laugh. Don't do that. Work on your own brand, establish yourself, and get super famous, and then you can say whatever you want. When you have all the fans just loving you and paying, then you can just say the darkest things you want, but get the fans first. Getting paid to perform, putting together an open mic. So getting paid to perform, again, we go back to putting asses in the seats, having people pay for a ticket, and if they're not paying to see you perform, how are you getting paid? If they're not paying to see you perform and you're having a free show, the bar owner should be paying you a guaranteed fee. What is the guaranteed fee? That's up to you to decide. I've established my hourly rate at $5,000 an hour, only for the sake of bringing the value of other comedians around me. Other bigger cities, people do a show for $500 an hour, but then the other comedians can only charge, $100, $200. But by putting up my value at $5,000 an hour, if they say, "Man, 5,000 is expensive, I can't afford that." Well, you know what? What's your budget? Man, I only have 1,000. Well, you know what? If you have 1,000, I have a buddy of mine that can put together a show for you guys. He'll get you guys Anthony. I'll call Anthony. "Hey, Anthony, they got this budget. Can you get the guys together? I'll give you guys $1,000. You guys do the show." But everybody around us, like, by putting my value up here, it brings up the value of everybody else. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And thank you.
No, and eventually it's gonna get higher. Like, eventually I'm gonna be charging 10,000, and you guys will be able to say, "Oh, 10,000. I only have 2,000. Well, here, Anthony, you take the gig. You guys put the show together. Here's $2,000." But that's what I'm trying to do, and by upping the value of my brand, I'm upping the value of all of us down here. But we all have to have the show to back it up. And if I can vouch and say, "Man, these guys put together a real good show for $2,000. They're gonna knock it out of the park," and I can put and say that with confidence, I'll give you those gigs all day. I'll give you those gigs all day. Trying out new material. You don't have to go to an open mic to do new material. Social media is a good place to do your new material. Just talk it into a reel, do a minute-long rant, throw it out on social media. It might go viral. That's how you try out material. Put it out on social media. Who cares? If you don't want to put it on social media, try it out at the cashier at Stripes. Try it out at the cashier at HEB. try it out in an elevator.
I do that.
You know, yeah, and that's honestly that's open mic, dude. That's where you try your material, because if it made one person laugh, chances are it's gonna make another a big crowd laugh. You know, how to handle a heckler. Again, learn from the mistakes of Kramer. It's never cool to lose your cool. And before you even go to the stage, this is the most important part. If you see somebody heckling before you go on stage, examine them. Already write roasts before you even go on stage. Have 4 or 5 comebacks that you already have pre-prepared for this dude that's already showing signs that he's heckling. By the time you go up there, you already have 5 comebacks that know you're gonna just rip this dude apart and put him in his place so he shuts up. If that doesn't drive it, coordinate with a security guard in advance and say, hey man, if I get to this point and this guy's not shutting up, I'm gonna say, you know, maybe this guy just needs a breath of fresh air or a drink of water. Can we get this guy a drink of water? And when I say get this guy a drink of water, have the security guard come in and say, sir, can we, you know, let's take you to the bar, let's get you some drink of water, let's take you outside. Have the guy be removed because it's gonna keep the show from getting out of hand. All right, and then that's the last slide. The last slide is how to handle your mother's crying because you want to be a comedian. That's on you guys. That's console your mothers. That's the last slide, guys. So I want to appreciate you guys for taking the comedy masterclass. Thank you so much. Hope you guys learned a lot. Thank you. Your question. So Anthony had a question earlier. He told me how to follow somebody like a bad magician and that walks the crowd. It's a great question, by the way. It's a great question. Was it you?
All these no.
Were you the magic?
No, we just performed them yesterday.
So whenever you guys have a situation where somebody before you goes on and they do a bad job, and you want to go up there and you're about to do comedy and somebody right before you just completely took a dump on stage, call it out, roast them mercilessly, win the crowd as fast as you can. That's the name of the game. Buy the dude a beer afterwards. No hard feelings. I had to roast you. It was bad. I had to say something. Do it. Like for the sake of winning the crowd over. All is fair game. I've had a gig where I was bombing, and people weren't laughing, and I made fun of the lady that catered the place. And she made some flautas that were really, really hard and really, really tough to chew on. And I said, nah, people really want to laugh at that joke, but they're struggling to chew on the flautas. And everybody laughed because I called out the elephant in the room. If you see an awkward situation and you don't call it out, as a comedian, it looks unprofessional on our part. Like it makes us look amateur. But if you do it and you call it out right then and there, it ups your value. Like, what? This dude just called it out. Wow. I didn't even think anybody was gonna say anything, and this dude's just straight up calling it out. Like all of a sudden, your value is just skyrocketing. Aside from that, did you have any other questions, bro? And
well, we'll go
on my tire.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm thinking just like I used to wear like a button shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's fine.
Anywhere in between tuxedo and this. Like,
Yeah. Dude,
I haven't
totally
even thought of that about like that it's gonna attract me. I don't want me.
No, that's
to attract me.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know?
No, that's a big
I
time
want to
thing.
attract better people.
Exactly. So like, how do you attract better people? Is be better. Be a better. Like, I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Right.
Like the only input I gave him was a magician. The rest of it was what we call serendipity. It's just an alignment.
What's up, Joseph?
So how much nerd is too much nerd?
No, dude. If you want to attract nerdy people, then go nerd. You know what I'm saying? But there's nerds, there's sophisticated nerds, and then there's sloppy nerds that don't care. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to attract the ones that don't care. You want to attract the sophisticated nerds that are like into social media hacking and like elevated nerds. Yeah. Sloppy nerds that don't care about themselves rarely have money. You know what I'm saying? Sophisticated nerds that are into crypto and hardcore investing and stuff like that, they have money. They're balling out of control. You know, there's a total market for nerdiness.
I know there is, yeah.
Total market, it's a massive market. And then if you knock out the nerd market, Comic Cons are gonna be all up on your, like, booking you all over the place, high and for high dollars because you have that market.
That's always a dream.
Yeah, but dude, that's where it's
LA
at.
Comic Con. That's where it's always at.
That's a huge. That's a big market right there. So yeah, and it's, don't take it from me like that. You have to dress like me to get. No, whatever you want to attract, that's who you want to attract. Go for it, but just run to the hills with it. Like, if you want to attract nerds, attract the nerds, bro, and just that's a big crowd. That's a big market. It's a lot of money in there too, bro.
Worldwide.
Yeah, it's worldwide. You can have an international audience just based on your persona, on who you want to be, but just amplify it. Take your persona and amplify it. I think Mario. I don't know if Mario had any other questions. Forgot what he asked me. Any other questions from you guys?
As far as like the opening, because like when I hit the stage, you know, I understand you gotta have material for the first 6 seconds. But me, it's like I want to tell the crowd what to do. When I hit the stage, like, make some noise, you know. Like,
Okay.
You know, like, hey, it's on Padre Island, you know, make some noise. You know, you got a Valley Boy on the stage today. You know, I get like is that, you know.
That's fine. That's and you're hyping it up. You're hyping the whole place up. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like the old trite. How you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, no,
super. Yeah, super. It's super gimmicky. But if you're there, like, just hyping them up, do it. That's fine. That's totally fine. But have something right out the gate. As soon as they're ready, as soon as they stop clapping, you have something that's just gonna hammer them.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be funny.
On that note, the opposite would what's up, you know, city. Does that also fall under the how's it going?
Sort of. And say, instead of saying what's up, say, oh man, it's good to be in
There you go. Okay.
West Lago,
That's a good substitute.
home of the sewage smell, you know, and like, you just like whatever, you know, and but that right there is something that's gonna differentiate you from the rest of the comics. Because how many times will you see throughout the night comics go out there like, hey, how you guys doing tonight? Probably in an open mic, you probably see that happen 7 times.
That's Bo every day.
Yeah.
You know? So it's that one little phrase, just getting rid of that phrase is going to separate you from the pack. It's good question.
Copy that.
Any other questions?
You were talking about some of the pricing of what comics get or putting on an event together.
Yeah.
Can you go like in the range? Like
Sure.
What is the normal range?
So like right now, like when I first started, and this is like a real base rate, like when somebody's barely getting started out, $250 for your first headlining gig is totally fine. Like, that's totally cool. It's like, hey, I'm gonna pay you $250 to come over here and tell an hour of jokes. Okay, I'll take that. For somebody with no following, like, this is just like they're hiring you because they know you, you're funny, you're gonna deliver an hour of good jokes, $250 all day. If you're somewhat known and you have a kind of name and you're kind of rocking it, $500, like, to do an hour. Like, but as your name grows, you can charge anything really. It's totally like, it's just a number. But when you're first starting out, $250 is like the base rate, and $250 is the MC rate too. So it's like, hey, I can do and MCing is also its own gig. Like, just to read and tell announcements and give shout outs to sponsors, you can make a lot of money just by being a good MC and reading announcements.
Like at a fight.
At a fight, I just to ring announce, dude. I would do ring announcing for boxing matches because I did the voice. I could do all sorts of voices, like, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner. And I was just doing that. I love doing it. And I'm charging $500 to watch fights, and I'm ring announcing, and I'm getting paid to be there. It's just $500. So there's a lot of money in being a master of ceremonies. So there's that. But doing comedy for 15 minutes, you can get $100. You know, that's what I like to pay my comics whenever they come in. If you're doing anything more than 15 minutes, I want to try to get you at least $100. If you're doing anything less than 15 minutes, I'm gonna try to get you at least $50, you know, and in the scheme of things, $50 for 10 minutes of jokes. It's
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
good. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
making it, mama.
Yeah, bro, that's really good. You know, that's really
Don't
good.
cry, mama.
Yeah, I told you. I told you it was happening. I told you it'd pay off, mama. That time in prison did pay off.
That truck is coming.
That truck is coming. Yeah.
So when you say like you did the 250 as a headliner, like how long did you have to grind out that 250 before your value, before your following?
It was a good while because, like my $250 when I was getting paid $250, I was like I started off getting paid $50 for an hour when I was 15, and I was getting paid $50 an hour from my friend's dad who owned a bar that I just happened to do. I was busboying at, and he had a PA system set up for a band that he was bringing in there, and I just got up on stage, started goofing around, and I did an hour of just me goofing and doing voices on the PA system. And at the end of the night, the guy slipped me a 50, and I said, like, no me tío, like, I was just joking around, and I was like, he usually paid me like $5 to $10 for bussing tables at the end of the night, and I'm like, you gave me too much money. And he's like, no, what you did up there, that's called show business. And he goes, you'd make a lot more money if you keep on working on that instead of bussing tables. And that guy opened my mind big time. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He goes, you come back every Friday that we have, because it was my friend's dad's bar that he lived by the stadium. So all the people, locals, would go before the football games, and they get nice and tipsy and then go to the football games. So from 5 to 7, yeah. Huh?
People went to La Jolla football games.
It was jam-packed, bro. Super 5'8". So then, like, from 5 to 7, we'd have people there pounding drinks, and I would be entertaining them, and for an hour, and he'd give me $50. And I was 15 years old, and to me that was like craziness. $50 for an hour, yeah. And then the first time I got paid, where it opened up my mind, I got paid for $100 at a talent show when I was 15 years old, and I did 5 minutes, and I was just like, what? I did 5 minutes and I made $100, and I was like, man, if I can get paid $100 for these 5 minutes, that means in an hour there's 5-minute slots. There's 12 of those. So if I could fill up that hour with 5 minutes of joke slots that are worth $100 each 5 minutes, by the end of that 12 slots, I could charge $1,200 based on my 15-year-old analytic mind. That's how my 15-year-old mind was working. Yeah. If I can fill up those, because I made $100 in these 5 minutes because they were fire and they were awesome. If all I have to do is write 5-minute increment jokes, 5-minute blocks that I can say that's worth $100. Okay, this 5 minutes, that's worth $100. This 5 minutes, that's worth. If I can cram all of that into an hour, I can say I can charge $1,200 because I know that these 5-minute blocks are worth $100. That's where my 15-year-old mind was at. Did I get to the point where I was charging $1,200? Yeah, eventually. When the first time that I charged $1,000, I was like freaking out. Like $1,000 to tell jokes for an hour. This is crazy. And then now it's like I won't take the gig. I'll give it to Mario, or I'll give it to another friend of mine for the $1,000 because it's like But I want to make the 5,000. But the 5,000 simply came from having the balls to say that's what I want to charge.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It
was a step. It was a risk, and it said, hey, I believe in my brand this much that I'm worth this much. Did it take work? Yeah, because it was at the point, it was at $1,500 for the longest time. It was $1,500, and then I finally said, you know what? The next person I called, it's $2,000. Okay. They said yes, and then it's like, it's gonna be $2,500. Okay, $2,500 is fine. I was like, and then I said, well, what does it take for me at this point when it was at $1,500 for so long to just say add 500 and add another 1,000, and they were just saying yes. It's like, well, just double it. Yeah. And it's like 2,500. The next person that calls, well, it's 5,000. Okay, well, I don't have that much in my budget. We can do 4. Okay, I'll take 4. You know,
I'm really bringing it down. All right.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I usually don't do these things for but I guess I could do 4. You know, but eventually that 5 is going to turn into 10. You know, and that's just the way the business works. How do you do that? By building and amping up the demand for your brand.
Yeah.
So how much like significantly would it increase for like private parties and?
Huge. So for private parties, like before, for private parties I was charging $1,000 to $1,500 for a private party, for like a backyard party, right? And it started off at $500. If you want me to have, if you want to have a barbecue and you want Raymond Orta to perform, I'll charge you $500. And I thought I was balling. Out of control. And that still today is still really good money. I'll still take those gigs. Like, truthfully, like if somebody called me and I have nothing to do and I'm just like, need some weed money, I'll take the gig for $500 because that's a paid open mic for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into somebody's backyard with probably like 15, 20 people. I get to do jokes that I haven't tried. That's where I get to try out my new material. So it's like a paid open mic, and that's a real open mic there because you're trying it in front of genuine strangers, and they're paying you, but they're actually a small enough audience to where if your jokes bomb, it's not gonna ruin your career.
Yeah.
You know, and you can even tell them like, hey, that was a new joke. Sorry, my bad. That will never see the light of day again. Okay, I get it. You know, but it's a paid open mic. What turned into $500 a gig for backyard parties turned to $1,500 eventually. But right now, for a backyard party, I'm charging $3,500. $3,500, and people will be like, "Oh, gee, that's a lot, man. Can you do $2,500?" Yes, I will. I'll do $2,500 because you're my friend. You know, but it's all about the backyard parties. This is a big time tip for backyard parties. If you're going into the backyard party and you're going into just delivering your material, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. You have to go into the backyard parties and roast.
Yeah, and
have fun.
Yeah.
And make it about them. Make it about their night. Roast their house. Make fun of their family members. And for real. And dude, the more you can do that, they love you for it, bro. I've made a name for it in backyard parties. Going in there, the last thing you want to do is get into your own material because you probably drop a solid 15 minutes of just roasting their entire place before you start telling them about yourself. Because after 15 minutes of you just roasting them, they're like, all right, this guy's cool. All right, this guy's just ripping our family up. All right, this guy's cool. Let's listen to what he has to say. But if you didn't establish yourself as that person, you're just a stranger coming to their house trying to sell them a Kirby vacuum.
Yeah.
At this point, check out the light bulb, huh? And then so backyard parties, there's a big money to be made, and that's where I made my name. It's a real good way to start your brand that way. Filming backyard parties, putting that content up on social media in snippets, small, short snippets, and that's.
What about like being on someone's stage? Let's say one of these guys, you have your event here at the island, and they come on. Are you? How much self promotion can you do? Like, oh, follow me on social media. I send jokes on email. Join my email list. Is that all cool?
That's all cool. That's based on when you're gonna promote yourself. We call that a merch plug in the comedy business because you're going up there. You're probably selling your T-shirts, and you're going over your social media and stuff like that. Find a way to deliver that marketing in a funny way, to where it's like they're being marketed to, and they have no idea they're being marketed to. They're like, "Oh, I want that sticker," and it's like they're wanting the brand that you're pushing. So you can push it all you want, but eventually people are gonna be like, yeah, this guy's pushing his stuff. If you can get past that defensiveness by having it filled with funniness. It's like, oh, I want this guy's stuff, you know. So it's marketing. You can plug when these guys are up there. Plug your show. Like any time that you go up on stage, that's your stage. That's your stage. For that moment that you're there, that's your stage. Like, own it, because you never know who's on there, and always treat it like there's going to be somebody super important on there, in the crowd, because you never know who's going to be in the crowd.
Okay. When people aren't calling you, but you have to go out there and talk to bar owners and all that, what strategy do you think you have? Like, or
Great. No, that's a great question. So when they're not calling you, but you're going up to bar owners, is this is how I pitch it. Ask them for their worst night. What's the worst and slowest night?
I used to do that in Austin.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what's your worst night?
That's how
I'm
you
gonna
do
bring
it.
some people.
Yeah, what's your worst night? And that's how it starts. And honestly, that's how it started here at the beach. You know, what's your worst night? They said Thursdays is terrible. Give me Thursdays, and they'll be like, we'll let you stay here at the beach if you can get us to get Thursdays packed in here. Like, okay, let's challenge accepted. Start bringing people in. So go talk to a bar owner. Tell them what's your slowest night. Be prepared to start doing work on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Those are the worst nights. But honestly, those are the best nights for comedy because there's nothing else going on. There's no football game. There's not a fight going on. There's not something that's gonna kick your ass as far as attendance goes. There's nothing going on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Everybody has a reason to come out. Like, oh, especially if you're gonna do a show on a midweek run, do an early show. Start it at 7 o'clock, end it at 9 o'clock. That way, everybody that has to work the next day, they can go home.
Yeah.
And they don't have to stay there that night. But what's good about that is that it shows the bar that for those 2 hours they had this amount of patrons there, and then when the comedy show was done, everybody left. And because the comedy will, or the bar owner will look at their numbers and see the graph, from 7 to 9 there was a giant peak of alcohol consumption, a giant peak of food consumption when normally there wasn't. What caused that? Oh, we had comedy that night. Well, let's do that Tuesday and Wednesday. That's cool. We could do that Tuesday and Wednesday because we had a jump, and both Tuesdays and Wednesdays are terrible nights for us. Let's do that. But if you're bringing people and you're doing a comedy show like that, and you bring comedians that are gonna walk the crowd, the business has to make sense for the business owner first. That's the number one thing, is that it has to make sense for the business owner first. But that's a really good question. That's how you approach it. Ask them for the crappiest night. Take the crappiest night, fill it up, and give away the tickets. And say, you know what? I'm gonna bring in 100 people here that are gonna drink and have a good time. I just need $500. Tell them, like, if I can bring in 100 people free, like no cover, I need $500 from you guaranteed, so I can pay the comics. And if they say, oh, I don't know about that, well, I'm gonna go talk to your competition next door who has a place, and he's willing to pay me the $500, and I'm gonna bring them over here, and they're gonna be right next door drinking, having a good time. You're gonna hear them through your walls, and you're gonna have nobody here. And sometimes it's hardball. You have to play hardball with the business owners. That's reading books on how to make sales is part of the business. Making these sales is part of the business. So, but like, great question. That's a really good question. Going up to a bar owner, telling them what's your slowest night, filling it up is a way to say, man, these guys filled it up on a Tuesday. Imagine if I gave them a Friday or a Saturday. They'd crush it. But you have to build their trust from the Tuesday. Good question.